Good morning, welcome to Friday's live trading. Well, I almost forgot to switch the thing on today, so there we are. I'm now switched on. Just done the morning outlook and looked at a couple of currencies. I was looking at the potential. The pound here looks a little bit soft. I was sort of disregarding yesterday's data in a sense and expecting a bit of a bounce, but it does look soft on the dailies. It's just had a biggish move, a 26 pip move on the hourly 30-minute chart. I'm actually on at the moment, the last 30 minutes. I was looking to see if we got a breakdown. It's just gone without me. If you look at the shorter time frames here, 5-minute chart, it just boom, off it went. I am in a long position from yesterday on the euro dollar, and I'm still sitting in that at the moment. We'll just be nursing that at this rate. We got in yesterday at he said somewhere a bit later than that. I need a 60-minute candle so I can show you. We got in yesterday. Now this is on my 2-3 days room, and we got in. Yeah, it was on just after that 7 o'clock candle, so it's around about just after 8 o'clock. We took a long at this level here, so we're slightly up at the moment. I'll be nursing that. Now the target's reduced on that because, well, I was looking at the 4-hourly 50 with the 4-hourly 50s forever coming down sharper and sharper. What I might do is just take half out on the 4-hour 50 and see if we can run anything any further, but at the moment it's as sluggish as anything. So there we go. I shall wait and see what happens from that. At the moment, though, there is absolutely nothing out there. The ranges have dropped down significantly yesterday, 35 pip moves, etc. So for the whole day. So sitting here at the moment, looking, fiddling thumbs, and maybe adjusting a trade that I'm already in. But it'll have to pick up for me to get into a new trade. Okay, sometime afterwards, and I'm back and looking again as just the market's not really doing too much. I was looking at the pound then. The pound, it broke before I even really finished doing it. My morning outlook this morning, it was breaking at the time. It just broke down quite quickly. In about 10 minutes, it completely gone down there into its S3 here, having a little bit of a bounce at the moment. I am looking then. Come back to that 4-hourly, it's the best picture of it. Got this, dare I say, head and shouldery pattern that's sitting here, but a break of these lows here, this low here gives me a lower high. The market's rolling over. If I get that, I'm gonna sell at that point there with a stop over the highs, targeting back in towards the lows here. I'll trail the stop down maybe. When it gets to about 1 to 1, 1.5 to 1, we'll see what it does. A little bit of a swing. It is a Friday. I often like rolling these over a Friday, but we'll see with the price action if it happens quick enough. I'm going to set an alert for this to see if it sets up there, but that's the general plan. So I'm just switching through the different time frames here. From a daily perspective, as I said this morning, it just looks a little bit weak here. This sort of swinging sort of position around here. I was expecting more of a correction back yesterday. As I said this morning, I thought it would get more of a bounce from yesterday afternoon and continue through this morning and get back into its sort of mean and maybe even push back up here. But these pairs are looking a bit soft. The euro, I'm still short, long. Get the right way around on that. Still long from yesterday's trading, and that's really going the best part of nowhere at the moment. It's, if anything, that too could slide over. But if I'm looking for one that's looking weak, well, the pound's looking weaker than the euro at the moment, so the pound makes a logical trade there. It's going to need around about, I'll have a measure again here, around about 40 odd pips stop. So I will get the position size worked out. In the meantime, it's actually a bit more. Actually, it's about 50 pip stop, but about 90 pips in it, so that's what I'm looking at. I'll wait and see what happens here. Want to see the break of the lows there ideally. Could look for the trend line break or neckline break if you're looking at this head and shoulders, dare I say, but I'll wait for the low there. So that's what I'm looking at the moment. Recording. Okay, so many hours later, it seems, at least 2, still sitting here waiting to see what happens with this pound. It's threatened to come down, break my levels, trigger my trade, trigger me into a trade. It's bounced, it's come back, it's bouncing. It may be one of those that I just don't get in on today. So yeah, that's not really moving too much. The euro long that I'm sitting in, well, that's not doing too much either. It's really in a very, very tight range. The whole of today's range at the moment is sitting at where are we, 24 pips. If I hadn't been in a trade on the euro, I wouldn't be in a trade on the euro, as simple as that, because it just hasn't done anything. The pound, I like the look of the, as I said, I like the look of the, if it starts breaking down here, but it's taking its time. It's getting a bounce. It may just never set for me, so in which case I'll just leave it. But I'm not going to sort of look to the last minute of the day to see if I can get this, into this position. If it doesn't trigger, I'll just, as I say, I haven't actually put a sell stop. I wanted to be around and see what the price action was doing, so I'll just walk away from it. But at the moment, say, bouncing, there's little real movement in the market. It's a proper summer market this at the moment, very dull, but sometimes after a bit of dullness you get a bit of excitement in terms of the market's price action. Not me, I will stay there steady. But anyway, I will leave the recording for now. I'll be back in a short while. So I'm just got the alert coming up. Just looking at this pound, we could be in a short soon. It's still got a few pips to go here. What we're looking at, 38.89. It's about 5 pips to go. So I've got a ticket ready with a 50 pip stop on, expecting this to run into next week if it triggers. Just not far off of being where I want it to be. So orders ready, 50 pip. Could have got away with slightly smaller stops. I'll look at that accordingly, but just looking for this breakdown here. The reason why I'm waiting for it to break down, it may just bounce off it, so we'll just see. I'm looking at it on a 60-minute time frame. It could come down just to see the 4-hourly is just looking good off there as well. Just need to look at the 60-minute for a bit of precision, maybe even the 5-minute, but I'll stick with the 60-minute for a moment and just see if this does trip over here. As I said, if this triggers, it's more likely to be a bit more of a swing. I don't expect it to run down 50 pips in a day or another 50 pips in a day. It has actually will have moved close on 50 pips. It's the most volatile thing out there relatively. So just looking for 38.89 on the ticket, so a couple of pips away. But double bottoming. I've spent the whole morning looking at this. Look, at 8 o'clock it bounced back, 9 o'clock it bounced back. Okay, it rallied. Okay, it rolled over a little bit. It's pushed back up. This is real patience trading. As soon as I put the microphone on to carry on recording, it pauses. So it bounces back up. So I'm going to put this on pause, and you might just see the aftermath. But that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I've been sitting here waiting to press the button and it's just not happening at the moment. For now, I'm placing a sell stop at 139.89. I was looking at the wrong numbers here. 139.89. I've got a 50 pip stop on it. I'm going to pop that in there and just place that as a sell stop, and I'll see how that runs. So I'm going to leave it because I'm sitting here watching it and it's not happening. So there we go. That's done. I've done it a good. It's only for today. I will come through 4 o'clock, probably just cancel if it hasn't done anything. So give it its chance. So the euro long from yesterday, which I talked about earlier, is still dancing, doing nothing. It really is a very slow market. 24 pips all day on the euro. Whoosh. Anyway, I'll put this on pause. Catch you later. So yesterday's trade, just looking at the euro's actually come at the 50. Wait long enough and the 4-hourly 50 would come to you. It's come down to price. I've left the I've left the order on this at actually let's just have a look where the order's left on this. Just pinch this over, bring this over. So the order's sitting on this 1970. So that's 69.70. It's round about yesterday's highs. In fact, I might be pecking a bit greedy. That was the 50 at the time. I will look through here and just check, but 1973, we've got the R2, 20% chance of that being hit today. I will leave it for now. I might just 1970 was fine. I will leave this. Hasn't even come to my break-even point yet. I was looking for this this level here to come in to move the stop to break-even, so I should just let that run. So nothing else happening. The pound, I've put a sell stop in there. It might trigger. There we go. But it's dancing around, dancing in the moonlight, as they say. But for now, I shall leave this. So we've just had some news come out. The pound's bounced once again, just as it looked like it was snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Oh, is that right? Whatever. Anyway, it's turned round and moved up. Good news though. The euro's also kicked up, and that has is moving back towards what I was looking at. I'm looking at 90, as I say, 1970. It's about 6 pips away, and I'm going to just leave it there as the target at this rate. Stop on yesterday's trade could be moved up to break even at this stage. It's 6 pips away. It's almost that point. Do you move it? Do you leave it just where it is at the moment, or can you be bothered? The speed it's moved all morning, I'm sort of bothered because it could just be stalling here. I may be being just a tad greedy and may look at that 1968 as the exit, yesterday's high as the exit, the way these markets have moved today. But I think the stop to break even makes sense on that now. It's run into its 4-hourly R3, may find a bit of resistance around that. And of course it would have triggered a few over bought signals probably, because it's so tight and it's pinched anyone looking at the sort of things like Bollinger Bands. It's probably into the upper bands. It's tight, but we'll see. We could get a decent move from this. So the markets have moved all over the shop. I am actually going to scrap this order I've got sitting here on the on the pound dollar. So I'm going to cancel the order on this. Still sitting in yesterday's euro at this stage. It's well, I'll show you what it's doing. I've actually held, I left it into yesterday's highs here. I've put it at a target in. I've just adjusted it slightly to 68, so that's rolling at the moment to so a target of 1968. So that's rolling. Working orders here. I'm going to cancel this one at the moment. I just don't like it. It's just taking too long. Oops, it should have been yes. Let's cancel that. So that order's cancelled. So that's where we're sitting at the moment. We'll see how things progress as we run through this afternoon. Okay, so yesterday's target was eventually hit there, filled just a short while ago, 1968. I opted for on that particular target. So there's seems a lot to get 1.38 return out of a trade, but that's what we ended up on that one. Let's just see what else is going on in a short while. I'll be back on in just a few moments. Okay, just back to my desk after a bit of chauffeuring with children, crikey. So what's going to happen? Gone on today then? In summary, just the management, if any, slight management of the euro trade from yesterday. I have had a couple of auto trades running, which are still actually another one running. It's a third one running today. It's let me just bring this across to show you the auto trades gone on today. We had a loser earlier on. It just ran off there. A bit of a choppy day on the euro yen. It did trigger a long earlier on, but that stopped. Trade now, these are only 1% risk. It's a benchmark account, so someone said, well, how comes you only won this or whatever else? It really doesn't matter. It's a benchmark account. It just takes all the trades as they are and just runs it through of this particular strategy. So it's just plodding along. It's a plodder, and it's running on low risk, 1% risk, and 1.3 targets generally. Euro dollar got triggered into a trade this afternoon. exited with slightly better profit. It got slipped a little bit actually on this particular trade, but it hits its slipped profit. We're currently in a long on the euro yen as well. It's triggered. You can see the entry. It's currently underwater, so we're sort of flat, I would say, at the moment on that. We're up 1.3% on the euro trade from yesterday, so we'll see where this goes. It doesn't look pretty good at the moment. If you look at the euro yen on the bigger picture here, it's just scroll out euro yen. It's been a bit of a mare today. It just triggered a trade, as I said, a bit later than I'd like it to trigger anyway, and it's just really chopped. Just go through these phases with this pairing. Sometimes they trigger and off they go. Other times it just chops along, and it's a bit of a choppy day. Looking at the yen itself against the US dollar yen, well, this is pushed back up again. Whether it will break on and push on for some more, give us an opportunity and see some more weakness in that yen, we'll see. But it's playing a stubborn pairing to my euro here at the moment, and as I said, it really doesn't look. It's an automatic system, so I don't get involved in deciding on which one I'll take, which one I'll leave. Otherwise, you start taking the losers and leaving the winners. You just don't know when it's going to fire off. But as I say, that's a system unto itself. And at the moment, it's just looking pretty grim technically, but as I say, you just don't know where it'll end up. I'm not into fortune telling. It's been working in this range-wise. It could easily push back upwards there from the bigger score of things here. It's just when you start coming out here, yep, it's a sort of a bull flaggy sort of pattern still hanging in there. So there's potential for it. But there we are. They just come and they go. Those as I said, one winner, one loser today, fractionally up on the winner out of the two. If this one loses, it loses 1%. Made 1.3 over starting from yesterday's euro trade, but worst case scenario over the last 2 days I'm up 0.3, but that's trading anyway. I hope you find it useful. It's been a really difficult day in terms of trying to find trades. As you probably gather, when you come back to the euro and you start looking at the actual amount of pips it's moved, 48 pips. Well, it spent most of this morning in 24 pips, then 27, barely moved at all. Cable, I was looking to get short on that earlier on. It's only now got back to the sort of levels I was looking, and I would be cancelled in the order now if I hadn't cancelled it earlier. But it just bounced earlier on, and it went away from where I was looking. It might still roll over come Monday, but I don't really want to be sitting in that over the weekend now. It's maybe going in the right direction for it though, but 5 o'clock on a Friday's night, it's not for me to take a trade. Aside of that, well, that's it really. So hopefully, as I say, that was a bit of use to you. Nice to have met some of you yesterday in our live trading room for a couple of days. We've shared the room. We will do that again at some time in the future, and probably another month or so. But for now, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you for the morning outlooks on Monday. Bye for now.